Hello and welcome to Shelby Township Parks and Recreation in the News. I'm Joe Youngblood. With me is Mike Adams from the Parks and Recreation Department. On our Parks and Recreation show, we like to keep our residents updated with all the latest and greatest happenings and events that we have here in wonderful Shelby Township. Mike, recently we had the Mommy-Son Dance over at Cherry Creek Golf Course. We had a very large crowd, one of the largest crowds we've had.
Yeah, it was our largest crowd we had in about 6 or 7 years. We had over 150 people. If you've never been to the Mother-Son Dance, you haven't because you're not a mother.
Correct.
But if the audience had never been there, it's a great event. We have the DJ that we always have, great food at Cherry Creek.
And what do you attribute the change in attendance to as far as the increase in attendance?
We did change the day of the event. We held it on Thursdays, on a Thursday for probably 15 to 20 years. Right. We changed it to a Wednesday, and it used to be in May, and we changed it to March. I think May, a lot of people have a lot of things going on. Moved it up to March when it's still not so nice outside, where soccer, baseball, everything else is going on.
Baseball going on, soccer,
yep.
Yeah.
And we experienced about a 25 to 35% jump in registration numbers, so it was a good move, I think.
And what's the age range of the boys that you see at the Mommy-Son Dance?
It's quite an age range. I would say you have anyone from about 2 years old up to about 14. That's
great to see that the older boys are still hanging out with mom at the dance. I know the moms, you get a feel in from, we're going to take a look at some video here in a minute, but the how excited they are and just proud to be with their
you think they want to be there, or maybe just one, but we always have a good amount. Same thing with the daddy-daughter dance. Some of the girls are 14, 15 years old, and they're still coming back every year.
Well, as we know, Cherry Creek has great food. And what was on the menu for this evening?
We had chicken piccata. Probably just for the moms. I don't think the kids went for the chicken piccata too much, but we did have chicken fingers, French fries for the kids.
Smiley face French fries?
We did not. We had the normal French fries, which I think are even better. We had the great pasta. They have great pasta at Cherry Creek. Salad, just the whole spread. And Cherry Creek got a lot of compliments, and we got a lot of compliments on the food as well.
Well, and what a beautiful facility it is over at Cherry Creek in their banquet hall.
It is. Another moving it to March is, boy, the kids really like to go outside and experiment on the golf course and have a good time out there. It's a little colder this time, so I think the moms enjoyed it because the kids were inside with them more as opposed to outside. There's some great, picture options outside, but I think the moms liked it a little bit better because the kids actually had to dance with the moms this time. Well,
that's great. And Mike from our office and coordinates this event along with Shelly Thursman from our office. So great job, Mike. Another successful event. And we're, as you talked about, Mike, it's getting that time of year where we're getting past winter. Spring is here, and that means baseball season, soccer season is right here or right around the corner. Mike, adult softball, we get a lot of calls, and we have some residents, I'm sure, are interested in some information on that. We know some of the leagues are full, but just give us a little background information as far as what nights do we have adult softball there, and what nights are there openings?
At Maystecker Park on 24 Mile Road, we have adult softball actually 6 nights out of the week. Saturdays are only a break day. We have tons of men's leagues. Seems like the flow's been going over toward the D leagues, more of a recreational type league where guys just like to go out and have fun.
It's still competitive, right? But
yeah, some of the D leagues are
so-called tournament teams.
Right, some of the D leagues are very competitive. Our women's league's up and running on Tuesdays. We have a co-ed on Fridays, which is a great night if you just want to get together and have a good time. And we have anywhere from 12 to 16 teams for that one alone. So, like you said, most of the leagues are full, but we do have a couple nights open. We have Wednesday nights open and Sunday nights open if any of the guys are interested. The women's is opening as well as the co-ed.
That's wonderful. And it's a great place to play. Maystecker Park, the whole family can come out there. We have the basketball courts with the lights on them. And also, Mike, it probably is one of the better family-oriented park where you got the softball going on, whether it's the mom or dad because the co-ed league and the women's league, and the beautiful tot lots there for the kids to play on.
There's a little bit of everything. There's the tennis courts, and it's kind of spread out, but not spread out too much. It's not the hugest park around, so you can do everything. You can go to both tot lots if you want to play tennis, you want to walk around the pond, it's all right there. So I think that's why people like that the most.
And with the state-of-the-art Robbie Atherton basketball courts there, they don't get any better than that.
No, those are beautiful. I think some of the guys even shoot around in between games on the courts. It's very nice.
Good. So that's the adult softball. And also for the youngsters, we have the Little League baseball and softball program that we have here in Shelby Township. Mike, the Little League baseball, a few openings left, but not much.
Yeah, we're winding down with registration. We do have some openings in most of the leagues. Some are full. We will be starting the 20th of April with the practices. So we'd like to get people registered as soon as possible so we can place them on a team. But we still do have some openings, and I'm sure once we had some nice weather, then it went away. Once it comes back, I'm sure we'll get a lot of registrations.
Very good. We've had a lot of emails lately, Mike, more than usual, as far as people calling about the community center rentals. They're looking just in general to rent a room. If they were to use the community center here or interested, how would that work?
They can contact our office and talk to me. I will give them dates that we have open. A lot of dates are booking up 2 to 3 months out.
Okay.
We started this a few years ago, and I think word's spreading that it's just a really nice location. It's not that expensive. It rents for $50 per hour for a bigger party, like a birthday party or a grad party or something like that. And I think the word's spreading. We have a lot of weekends already booked up, but we still do have a lot of Sunday time and some Saturday time too. We do it on both days, so it is a great if you got a party of 30 all the way up to 100 you don't want to have at your house. It's a great alternative.
And if it is, for example, a birthday party, so you said $50 per hour, what can they bring in?
They can bring in their own food. No alcohol is allowed, obviously, but they can bring in their own food. We have a refrigerator in the room if they have some beverages they have to keep cold. That includes all the tables, chairs, and setup of those tables and chairs any way they want. They don't have to worry about that at all.
And that's the savings right there if you're having a party at your house and you got to rent the tables and chairs.
Yep, and there's no cleaning fee. We ask that they clean up, obviously, but there's no cleaning fee. So I think that's why people are starting to look into it.
Yeah, it is nice. Like you said, you have a big party. Don't have to clean it all up at your house.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's the worst. It's hard enough to put on the party, and then after the party, you got to clean up. Here, it's all done for you.
Right. Mike also mentioned it's spring and summer's right around the corner. People are interested in having picnics at the park, especially Riverbends Park.
Yep.
We have large pavilions there. If I contacted Shelby Parks and Rec and wanted a pavilion, what do I need to do?
We actually, we have Gene Shepherd Park now on 23 Mile Road. We have a beautiful pavilion over there. That one's been very popular the past year. Once we got that up and running, but
get more rentals there now than anywhere.
That seems to be the most popular one now, as well as the 3 at Riverbends that we've rented forever. Right. There's always Maystecker Park, the small pavilion for having a small outdoor party.
That's great for little kids' birthday parties.
With the tot lot right there. People seem to like that one. We also have the Woodall Pavilion over at Ryan Road. So we have a lot of options, all different prices. They can give us a call. We can let them know availability and the prices of each one of those.
Very good. And also we have one item I wanted to mention. It's in July, so it's not too far off, but we have the Go for the Gold. It's the 5K run, 10K run. We also have the 5K walk and the kids run. And this is, we like to promote this. And Andrew, if you can get a shot of that, we might be able to pick it up here, the camera. This is the Go for the Gold, and we like to help support this at Shelby Parks and Rec because a large portion of this goes to the Special Olympics. And the Special Olympics here through Shelby Parks and Rec is very important to us. We take athletes to the Summer Olympics. We take athletes to the Winter Olympics. We also have our special recreation program, which is our, we have softball team. We also have a basketball team. We have many different events throughout the year. But the money that is raised here for the Olympics, it's wonderful. And Mike, we want to thank, of course, Mike Ward, who heads this up. Yep. In conjunction, he supports Jean Lambert, our contact from the Olympics. We also get quite a few of our Special Olympic athletes attend that day, and they have 500 to 600 runners out there. Yeah,
that one, everyone talks about this one. I think it's a good time of the year. It's in the summertime. It's not.
You're going to have warm weather.
You're going to have good weather, not like some of the runs that you're never too sure what the weather is going to be like. And you hear a lot of people talk about this one. I think because Special Olympics has that huge following and people love to support them, you always hear people asking and talking about this race.
Yeah, definitely. And if you have any questions on this, you can give us a call at 731-0300, and we can get you a flyer, or you can stop by the Parks and Rec, and we can pass out a flyer for you. There's also a website for this. It's www.goforthegoldraces.com. So a very important race that we have coming up. looking forward to that. And also, don't forget to mark your calendars. We have the summer concert series coming up. Mike, we have some exciting bands this year. I just want to name them off. We have the Square Pegs. You remember them from last year?
Very
it was
popular.
High energy, 80s music. You know, it's perfect fit for us. Actually, 80s and 90s, so can't go wrong with that.
No.
Then also, Wednesday, July 15th, we have the Rick Leader Band featuring Marshall Allen. This trio is phenomenal. They always do a great job. And a new band we have this year is Capture Detroit. Mike, this is a Journey tribute band.
I love Journey.
I think everyone loves Journey,
Yes.
so we're excited to see Capture Detroit. They'll be playing Journey music this year. So those are some of the events that we have coming up. Also on the next show, we'll be covering the Easter Egg Scramble and Easter Egg Lunch that we have here at Shelby Township Parks and Recreation. As we're heading out here, before we come back with the Carrie Crozier and the Nature Center, let's take some little look at some of the video footage we have from the Mommy Son Dance over at Cherry Creek.
Picnic shelters at Riverbends Park are available for rent starting January 9th, 2012. Reservations for the Bittersweet, Hickory Grove, and Maple View shelter will be accepted for groups for the months of May through September. For available dates, please contact Shelby Township Parks and Recreation Department at 586-731-0300. Amenities include a number of picnic tables, 8 grills scattered throughout the main park area, playscape and disc golf course, horseshoe pits and volleyball nets. For more information and residential and non-residential fees, please call the Shelby Township Parks and Recreation Department at 586-731-0300.
Hello and welcome back to Shelby Township Parks and Recreation in the News. With me now is Carrie Crozier, who is the Nature Center Coordinator over at Riverbends Park. Carrie, thanks for being on the show today. And I'd like to start out, Carrie, with exciting news about the new pathway that is being built from Riverbends Park down to Utica. The board recently passed this approval, so the township's paying X amount of dollars for this grant, which is totaling $2.4 million. Construction began from Riverbends Park to the city of Utica.
Right.
And this is going to be a great connector. I mean, you can park at 22 Mile Riverbends Park, head down the city of Utica, and you can go further. This will connect to Sterling Heights down to 16 Mile, all the way to
Correct.
Metro Beach. So this is part of ultimately a larger connector, but it's nice to see in Riverbends Park. It gets people deeper in the woods.
It's awesome, Joe, because we've had very popular feedback on the existing path we have now.
Right.
People have been asking when the next phase is going to start, so they're excited about it. And it's a great way to take and get out and see your parks, you know. And you talk about the pathway is going to going somewhat along the river,
Right.
to where you can walk the pathway, or there's going to be areas where you can walk out along the river. And speaking of the river, I'd like to take and mention that the fact that it is springtime, it's steelhead fishing time.
You're right. You do see a lot of fishermen down there on the
Yeah.
river. Just this past weekend, I saw them a lot down along the river.
All along the river, from Yates's all the way down into Sterling Heights, you got steelhead fishermen, you know, which
So
is
explain to me that I'm not a major fisherman myself. I like to throw the rod and reel out there a little bit. Why are the steelhead in the river right now, or coming up the river?
basically they are cyclic fish. Fish come up the river to spawn.
Okay.
Okay. In the fall, we have our salmon that come up the river and spawn. In the springtime, we have the steelhead first, and then eventually you will have walleye and pike coming up the river.
So they're all coming from Lake St. Clair.
Yep, Lake St. Clair. And I know there's a cycle, I don't know the exact number of years, but they've been planting steelhead in the river right by Coyote Joe's where the bridge is.
Okay.
And they plant anywhere from 8 inches to 16-inch steelhead. Well, they'll go out into the Great Lakes for a number of years to eat and forage and everything, and don't hold me to it, but I think it's 3 or 4 years, they come back up to spawn. And you're talking nice, clean silver fish. And we have such a a great fishery there that people don't realize. You don't have to go to the Pier Marquette, you don't have to go to the Muskegon, you know, to have great steelhead fisheries. It's right here in the backyard, and they're clean fish coming out of the Great Lakes. Usually any kind of a salmon egg imitation will work, which could be a small bag of salmon eggs, which is orange, fake salmon eggs orange, a little lead-headed jig with a pink head or a orange head, even spoons that have that little fake-looking orange bag in the middle, because they're eating salmon eggs, and it's prime time. But that leads me to another thing. We've had a long winter. We've had a lot of high water. The banks are unstable.
Yeah.
If you fished it last fall, you realize that, yeah, there's a nice flat here right after this turn and everything like that. Our river changes. It changes constantly. You can see the old oxbows where it used to go and where the new current and channels go.
And Kerry, explain what an oxbow is.
Oxbow is where a river will take and make a bend, and it makes like a big, almost like a full moon circle and goes back. High waters will create some kind of a damming system that'll block that big loop, and it cuts a new path. And these are the old backwater river channels.
Where the river used to go be. Yeah.
River channels, exactly. And when we talk about the Clinton River, we talk about a narrow river with high volume and energy when you get high water. So the fact that we've had all winter long high water, high energy, we've got a lot of banks that are undercut. So when the steelhead fishermen are out there, you cannot be safe enough by taking these things into consideration, because as anything with sports or any recreational thing, safety is paramount. I've always said that before. Safety, 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 safety. Banks get undercut. You're following the pathway and it crumbles, you fall in the river, okay? There are a lot of snags and log jams that are deep water, and they will catch you and hang you up. Unfortunately, it leads to a bad end. Second thing is, a lot of salmon fishermen don't bother to take, and when they wear their waders, you put a belt on the outside of the top of the waders, because if you happen to go in too deep of water or your feet get washed off from under you, that water will fill up your waders. You can't put your feet down. You're a bobber, you know what I mean? And usually your head is lower than your feet because you got the air holding your feet up in that. So it's a dangerous situation.
There.
Wear a belt. If it's cloudy water, stay away from turns. That's where your deeper water is, you know? If you're coming up on a bank, be conscious that it could be undercut 2, 3, 4, 5 feet sometimes. You've seen big areas where the whole thing just crumbles in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So be safe out there. It's a great fishery. Please go out and fish. Enjoy it. It's here for you. Safety, 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 you know?
Now, Kerry, another great point on the safety, no doubt. The steelhead, when they're running, how long of a window do fishermen have for this, approximately?
That depends on a multitude of things, Joe, and I'm not going to get into them, but I do know that we've had them running as early as January. We've had them running as late as into April.
Oh, no
so it
kidding.
really depends on the amount of fish that comes back, how quick the water warms up and the ice gets out of the river. A couple things contribute as to when the actual run is. But guys will start fishing in January and fish till April, and there's good fishing. Nice, clean, 20, 24-inch fish.
Yeah.
And salmon's good for you. So is trout, like trout. Oh,
Very
yeah.
good.
Steelhead.
Thank you very much on that, Kerry. Kerry, at the Nature Center, you guys have a lot of wonderful events over there. One of the larger events we have coming up is the Heron Festival.
Correct.
Have
It's
this every
one of our big
year,
ones.
and obviously, first, before you get into the entire event, tell us a little about the heron themselves, because we have one of the nicest heron rookeries around.
We
at
really do,
Holland
Joe.
Ponds.
Our luxury is we have so much water. We have the Clinton River, we have the Holland Ponds. That's not counting all the other ponds that are in subdivision around.
Oh, yeah.
You know, water winter wonderland. You know,
Yeah,
that's what
there's a
Michigan
lot
is.
of
And
ponds, yeah.
we have access
Small
to water,
lakes,
lots of
yeah.
it. Not just herons. We have I'm not going to say an overabundance, but we've got a plethora of herons. We also have white egrets. We have the little green egrets. That's not counting all the other little wading birds that are associated with the water. So, you know.
Great place to be if you're a bird lover.
Oh,
Shelby
my.
Township.
Well, the Macomb Audubon does winter birding in Riverbends Park. They go in 22, they go in Ryan, they go in Holland Pond, because it's a great place to identify birds, both birds in transit and local birds, you know. Okay. They get a lot of unique birds that aren't local to our area because the water and this up north resource we have at Riverbends draws them, you know. Heron Festival is in our third year, and it's one of our bigger festivals. It's awesome because we have, in the morning, we have a bird walk. Sometimes we use mist nets where we can catch the birds, show the kids the birds, talk about the birds, and then release the birds in a safe environment. But they actually see the birds up close. Some kids actually get to hold a bird upside down in their hands. Sometimes they'll fly right away. Sometimes, I had one young lady, she held that bird for 10 minutes and it just laid there. Funny, it flew off. And the smile on her face, the fact that she touched a bird and held it for so long
That's amazing.
was priceless. Was
I
priceless.
bet.
So we have the birding, we have pond dipping. We'll be looking at other aquatic insects and other reptiles and amphibians that are there.
Pond dipping. That
Absolutely.
Sounds interesting. What can you find in the pond dipping for the kids?
Well, that pond has made a great recovery. And usually when there's an association with contaminations, you don't get a lot of the microinvertebrates and macroinvertebrates, those real small insects and real small other little living organisms that are part of that food chain that graduate up. So in order for us to have this great heronry, you got to have the macroinvertebrates and microinvertebrates. You got to have the reptiles and amphibians. You got to have the small fish. You know, all that leads up to numbers. We've had a large heronry since we got the park in '92. It's moved 3 times. Every time it moves, it gets larger in number. You always see herons and egrets at Holland Ponds, and you know if they're eating like machines that they are, and they're putting out 2 and sometimes 3 young per nest, that it's a cycle that's working. It's a chain that's working. It's complete, you know?
great.
So it's, and we
Kerry,
go.
you mentioned they moved. And could you explain why they moved?
Well,
And I don't think it was by their choice. But
no, they don't, you know, because it's an unpleasant thing, but every animal defecates. And it's high acidic, as with chickens and any bird, it's a high acidic defecation. It kills the tree. Their choice of location isn't the most optimum because it's usually in a wetted area where you don't have good solid roots. A lot of times it's in an area where there's not a lot of other trees around. So you have the wind factor, you have the frozen ice factor, you have the dead tree factor, you have the unstable roots factor,
Sure.
you know. But they've moved back by the old ranger station at Holland Ponds to way up by the road on Ryan Road, by 22 Mile Road.
Right.
Excuse me.
So those trees are actually falling down
Yeah,
because
from-
they're just
from
dying,
wind. Yeah.
Poor root system.
Absolutely. And sometimes they'll move because you have high winds that just blow nests out of the trees because there's no building codes on heron nests. Some are built pretty poor, you know, and you find nests that blow out, and it's part of nature's cycle.
Sure.
They've now moved way back by the Clinton River. We've put up a lot of perimeter signs
A
around to
little
say
more protected over there.
more
with the
trees,
wind, yeah.
drier ground. We've put signage up to say it's a nesting waiting bird area. You can't enter it when they're nesting, for their, you don't disturb them, and it's for their benefit. We will actually be doing walks as close as we can without disturbing them on Heron Day. We're also going to be having, for those that can't make that walk through the woods to there, we have a telescope set up on a ridge where we can actually bring some of the nests in, and you can look through the scopes, and you very possible will see young popping their heads up, and the males and females coming in and out with food, you know. So
this is the time of the year where they're, the young ones will be hatching. Or they actually hatch in the
Heron
fall.
Festival. Heron Festival. Springtime. Usually the males will come back first and start doing their posturing thing and getting their nests in order and try to entice some charming young lady heron to show up and look what I got, nice home here all ready for you. I'm reliable, you know. And they'll start showing up and they'll start doing their courting rituals where they dance up and down, and then we start getting into baby mode, which is always cool, you know. Babies, anything is cool.
Kerry, this may seem like an odd question, but May 9th we know is a heron festival, and you'll see some of the young heron there. You just
Correct.
being born. How long have they been in the egg for, naturally for heron? Because I know it's been very cold recently. So I mean, is this something that they've been sitting on all winter, or what's the timeline here?
No, like I said, the males and females will posture, you know, and they'll come back. It depends on when they start laying the eggs, Joe.
Okay.
But it's normally, depending on the type of you know, bird or fowl it is, it's normally around 28 days, could be a little more, a little less. And we won't have small chicks when the heron festival's going on. They should be in their between fuzzy plumage to starting to get their normal plumage, you know. So they're going to be a little bit bigger chicks, not fresh out of the egg, you know. So it really dictates when they start laying, normally 28 days. You
So
know?
they may be able to see the mom feeding
Oh,
the
yes.
birds in the nest where they're
We've seen it multiple
crying
times.
for their food.
Oh yeah, and you know how kids are. When it's
pretty
feeding time, they'll let you know.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Well,
but yeah, it's around 28 days depending on what species and when they start laying.
Very good. So that's Saturday, May 9th, Heron Festival. Kerry, thanks a lot for being on the show. Always some great, exciting stuff. So knowledgeable of everything over at Riverbends Park. So we appreciate you being on the show today.
It's always good to be here, Joe.
Good. If you have any questions regarding any of the events, programs, anything we talked about today, give us a call, 731-0300. And please remember, here at Shelby Parks and Rec, we create community through people, parks, and programs. Thanks for watching.